My name is Veronica. I'm 34, and 2 weeks ago my life turned upside down. Not for a natural disaster or professional crisis, none of this. This storm arrived in the form of a family, with bags and arrogance that only those who grew up as Outbreak understands. I am the product of a generation that has learned to conquer alone, while my sister, Milna, was always the princess of the house with paid chores, rented apartment, and magazine wedding me. At 16, already fixed computers to play my studies. My parents, classic types, one who thinks justice is to give more to those who need it. When I inherited half the money from the sale of my grandmother's apartment, I almost fell off the chair. The other half, of course, it was to the sweet Milna, who at the time was studying journalism and few, living as if the world gave him something. I went to Kazan, squeezed in a student republic, survived in freelas and scholarship. I kept every ruble of those 1.5 million as if they were gold, because I knew no one but me would guarantee me a future. 12 years later, the future arrived. With blood, sweat, and night's turn, I bought my refuge, a Vibovo cottage, 4 bedrooms, barbecue terrain, and the future sauna of my dreams. Noble wood floors, panoramic windows, a balcony overlooking the sunset. 2 months sunk in furniture catalogs, fighting with delivery, discussing shades of gray with the designer. Every detail was mine, from the chandelier in the room to the sweet carpet. Finally, a place that shouted, "You got it." Of course, the family had to see. I invited my parents and Milna to the official presentation. They arrived by a beaten car, with guys from those who go to a wake. My mother sighed to see the kitchen with island. My father ran his fingers through the floor as if he tested authenticity. Milna, he climbed the stairs in silence and returned with a grimace. "What, so many rooms? You live alone." He let go, as if I should apologize for ambition. "I won't live alone forever," I said dryly. Her eyes narrowed. "Envy smells," and at that moment stink. They left. I thought, okay, now you know I'm no longer the ugly paw. My mistake. 2 weeks later, I organized the inauguration party. Guests, high colleagues, college friends, condominium neighbors. Even the parents and their sister received an invitation. By education. After all, blood is blood. Isn't it? At 6 in the afternoon, the house filled. Laughter, music, the smell of meat baking in the backyard. At 7, my mother's message. "Your father has high blood pressure. We won't be able to go." Not even a congratulations. Not even a regret. Only the usual, selective priorities. At 8, the door opens. Milna and Denny's, her husband, an entrepreneur who never undertook anything, come with bags. "Hi," he said, confused. "And the luggage?" She smiled, as if it was obvious. "Mom said we can stay here. Where's your room? We need to get things up." My brain crashed. Stay here? Denny's was already up the stairs, as if he owned the place. I ran behind and caught him throwing clothes on my bed. "Hey, what do you think you're doing?" "Installing us," he said, as if it were natural. Milna opened the zippers of her bags and began to empty drawers. "Take your things out of the closet. This room is ours now." Down below, the guests were looking for me, the hostess, paralyzed in the hallway, with a feeling that my floor was gone. I went down in automatic mode, smiling, serving drinks as my head was boil. When I managed to escape, I called my mother. Endless touches. No answer. 5 minutes later, the fatal message. "Veronica, without dramas. Milna is as entitled to a decent house as you. They stay there until they get their lives." Growled 3 times. My mother, in full lucidity, thought I should give up my sweat, my sleepless nights, the years saving every penny to play the parasites. Kapluho never moved a straw for himself. The anger burned, but I had a party to save. I took a deep breath, swallowed my pride, and returned to the hall. There they were, laughing with my friends, telling you how lucky to live in such an amazing place. When they praised the curtains, Milna wasted no time. "Ah, I chose this fabric tonight." When they admired the couch, "I found this piece on Ozan, a fine." My sister, the queen of the appropriations, stealing even the credits of what was never hers. At midnight, the last guest left. I climbed the stairs and found my room busy. Their clothes in my closet, makeup in my sink, loaders on my sockets. I slept in the suite of visits, planning each movement, because one thing was certain. They wouldn't be. The next day I woke up at 6 and found them in my kitchen, having my coffee. "We need the keys," Milna announced, as if it were a reasonable request. "We arrive at work before you. We won't beat on the street." I smile. "I haven't done copy yet, but I can arrive early tomorrow to open." She frowned. I was not used to listening to no. Me either. But this time, the no would be mine. They didn't argue. But Milna didn't need words to convey their discontent. Those cold eyes said everything. They finished coffee in silence, came out without farewell, Now went the car king as if nothing had happened while they probably already plotted the next movement. As soon as the white Volkswagen disappeared from the sight, I took the phone. Miram Yurevich, sorry for the call anytime soon, but a family emergency came up. Would it be possible to get the day out today? The chief's voice, always calm, answered without hesitation. Of course. Veronica, is everything okay? It will be soon. I lied. Already turning off. I climbed the stairs 2 steps at a time. There was no doubt for doubt. I opened the cabinets, dragged the bags back to the bed, and started throwing everything inside. The clothes scattered on the floor, the expensive cosmetics bottles that Mama had left open in the sink, the still damp toothbrushes in the bathroom glass. Each object it touched was an affront. Every inch of my space violated. As I tied the zippers hard, I called Yandex Cargo. I need a driver now. Delivery address, Chernikova, Pervomeyskaya Street. The man arrived in 20 minutes. As I carried my bags, I wrote by hand, with the impeccable handwriting I inherited from my mother, but without his drama, a single phrase on an A4 paper. In my house, parasites have no time. I glued the ticket to the closure of one of the volumes and closed the car door with a satisfactory snap. Hell collapsed an hour later. 20 lost calls from my mother, 15 of my father. Then the messages began to pop up like grenades. Nika, how could you? It's your sister. Mother, daughter, what cruelty is this? Malna is crying. They have nowhere to go. Father, we don't create you like this. Without heart. Mother, again. I filed everything without reading until the end. Then came the flood of Malna. 10 connections in a row. Then WhatsApp. Vera, you freaked out for good? Where are our things? We canceled the rent. Mom said we could stay with you. You're ruining our lives because of your petty. The last message deserved an answer. They can stay with Mom and Dad. Their house has 3 bedrooms. They all fit. I blocked the numbers next. There would be no negotiation. 2 weeks of absolute silence. No unwanted guests, no emotional blackmail, no extended hand to suck what was mine. For the first time in years, my daily life belonged to me only. He had coffee on the porch without haste, worked without interruption, slept without the weight of the guilt of others, until the registered letter arrived. The seal of lawyer Alexey Ivanovich Petrov of UFA froze in my veins. Your parents intend to file a lawsuit if you don't allow your sister to return to your residence, or will require the return of 1.5 million rubles regarding spending on university education. I relicted the text 3 times, incredulously. My own parents, threatening to sue the daughter who built everything alone, refusing to house an intrude. I didn't know if they had a nice basis, but I knew who knew. Aunt Gallia, I need you to tell me the truth about college money. The silence on the other end of the line was too long. You don't know? It was your grandmother's legacy, not a penny of your parents. The floor opened when your grandmother passed away a year before you graduated. It left the sale of the apartment divided equally between you and Malna to the education of both. They only passed on what was already their right. Do you have proof? Sure. Your father sent me a copy of the will years ago. I'm going to send it now. 20 minutes later, the PDF arrived, black and white. The funds obtained by selling the property must be divided into equal parts between the educational funds of the Veronica and Malna granddaughters. I took the document to the lawyer the same day. A young man, and a flawless suit, flipped the papers with an ironic smile. They have no chance shadow, he said. First, this money was yours for inheritance, not a gift of the parents. Second, even if it was, donation is not repealed. Third, here he looked up. They can't force her to give up her property. The law protects her right to say no. So they are bluffing. I'll write a formal answer. This will retreat them. 2 days later, their lawyer received an educated but devastating letter. The allegations of their clients have no legal basis. Any action will be challenged with counter process for moral damages. The subject died there, but my family is not. 2 months later, Aunt Gallia called, her voice shaky. Nika, you need to know what they are saying around. What now? That you promised shelter to Milna, but kicked her out when Dennis rejected her. That you had an unhealthy obsession for him, and when he dismissed you, put them on the street for revenge. The phone almost slipped from my hand. Are they spreading that I harassed my own brother-in-law? Worse, at Erda's birthday party, her mother told this as a fact. Everyone was shocked. The anger burned my throat. Manipulation was one thing, defamation another. The same night, I wrote in the WhatsApp family group, where all cousins, uncles, and grandparents were, Mother, you have 24 hours to publicly portray this lie. Otherwise, my lawyer will come with action for slander, defamation, and damage to reputation. Article 152 of the Civil Code. It wasn't. It worked. Aunt Gallia called me 3 days later, relieved. Your mother gathered everyone at home yesterday. He cried, said he exaggerated because of Milna, who invented everything. Many were disgusted, and the others, they cut contact with them. Even Uncle Vanya, who always defended them, said that was awesome. The victory had bitter taste. I didn't want war. I wanted respect. But if the choice was between being devoured or drawing limits, I would choose to defend myself always. The next months were the most peaceful of my life. No dramas, no invasions, without the shadow of the guilt they insisted on playing on me. My productivity fired. They promoted me to senior with a salary that finally reflected my value. Part of the bonus went to the dream balcony, a pergola with lighting, barbecue area, and outdoor sofas. It was there that I met Timofey, a developer of another IT company, also at home office. When I told the family saga, he widened his eyes. Wait, your sister simply appeared at your house, with your bags, without asking. I smiled, turning the wine in the glass. Yes, and I thought I was going to applaud. He shook his head impressed. You are the most rational person I have ever met. It's not rationality, courage, and survival. And for the first time in a long time, it was a survival without guilt. He frowned, studying my face in the golden light of sunset. This look says it's not all normal. What is it? I sighed, passing my fingers through the edge of the glass of wine that resting on the bamboo table. My mother wrote 3 pages of excuses that are not even that. Timofey crossed his arms, waiting. He knew that tone of voice well, what I used when I wanted to look calm, but inside I boiled. She began recognizing that Milna's plan was unfair, that the threats of process, the lies, all this was wrong. I paused, turning the engagement ring on my finger, a gesture I only realized when he followed the movement with his eyes. But then came the real reason. We are getting older. We want reconciliation before it's late. I immersed the maternal, soft and mellow voice. As always, it was when I wanted something. And guess what? Between one line and another, you release that they have financial difficulties since the family has moved away from them. That I, now that I'm so good, could help. Timofey released a dry, humor laugh. Unbelievable. Do they really think you'll fall into it again? I shook my head, watching how the sky went from orange to deep purple. It's not even that. It's audacity. After all, they still tried to make me feel guilty, as if I was ungrateful for not playing their mistakes. He approached, resting his hands on the arms of my chair, and his eyes, always so insight, found mine. You owe nothing to them, Mick. No explanations, no money, no second chance. I knew that. Rationally, I always knew. But hearing him say aloud was like a bucket of cold water in the last brazil of doubt that could still burn with me. They will never change, I continued, more to myself than for him. Milna still thinks she deserved my house. My parents still believe that love measures in checks and blackmail. And the worst is that if I gave in, they would see it as a victory, as proof they can manipulate me when they want. Timofey knelt beside me, taking my hand between his own. You've won. It's not about them, it's about you. About the life you built, the choices you made, the people you chose to have around. Her thumb drew soft circles on my skin, and I felt the knot in her throat dissolve. They lost the right to be part of this life when they chose to treat you as a vault, not as a daughter. I took a deep breath, letting the air come out slowly. He was right, each word. Do you know what is more ironic? I asked, finally smiling. If they had supported me from the beginning, if they had treated me as the same, as someone whose achievements deserved to be celebrated, I might even help now, not out of obligation, but by choice. But they never understood the difference. Timofey got up, pulling me with him. Come, let's go inside. I have a bottle of wine that is asking to be opened, and news that can cheer you up. I raised an eyebrow, curious, but he just smiled, mysterious. Dennis called me today. It seems that Milna won't be with One Way for a long time. Like this, he guided me back to the living room, where the warm light of the lamps created dancing shadows on the walls. Let's say their divorce is revealing much more than just her incompetence to manage money. And by the way, Dennis finally grew. His smile widened. I think your sister will learn in the ward what it means to reap what she plants. I sat on the couch, accepting the glass he extended me. I don't feel sorry, I admitted, without guilt. She made her choices. Timofey sat beside me, leaning his head on mine. And you did yours. Look around, Mick. This house, this life, this peace, all this is proof that you were right. I raised the glass in a gift silence so I saw no revenge, not resentment, but freedom to no longer need to justify my happiness to anyone. You had a thoughtful air. Your mother sent a letter, Timofey said, sliding the envelope through the coffee table. Half of apology, half manipulation, kind of money request. I arched an eyebrow. Will you answer? His question stopped in the air like a cigarette smoke in an empty bar. Don't even think. The answer came out automatic, without hesitation. Some ties are like infected wounds. The more you poke, the more they suppose. Even if they carry the same blood dot, he watched me. Really, don't you miss it? Don't you hurt to have cut everything with them? I closed my eyes for a moment, reliving every discussion, every emotional blackmail. Each time my kindness was confused with stupidity. It hurts less than enduring their poison day after day. My voice didn't. Trang, my life is better without their dramas, without the feeling that I am a leg with legs. I'm happier. And look who is here now. I pointed to him, to the house, to the life we had built. People who see me, not only what they can take from me. The following month, our house was filled with laughter and glasses raised to celebrate our engagement. 50 people, friends, allies, even cousins who had turned their backs to my parents after the last scandal. My cousin Reader raised his glass, and his words echoed as an oath to Nick, who taught us the most important truth: family is not just DNA. It holds your hand when you stumble, who celebrates their victories as if they were their news without drama. My eyes burned. It wasn't just champagne. Those faces all smiling at me, not out of interest, were my definitive answer. I lost blood ties, but I got an army of choices. I learned to value my own space, to surround myself from those who value me. This house, with its walls decorated with my battles and achievements, was my sanctuary. The garden, where now real friends gathered, was proof that the best connections are born from the heart, not obligation. And most importantly, all this was mine, gained from sweat, protected to nails and nails. I understood that establishing limits is not cruelty, it is survival. That some will always confuse kindness with weakness and independence with selfishness. But these do not deserve seat to my table. Now, while I plan every detail of the marriage, I feel only gratitude, even by the scars. Each attempt to use me only became sharper, more honor of me. My life today is made of mutual respect, sincere affections, and achievements that no one can steal me. And if they ever knock on the door with more lame excuses or extended hands, I'll smile and remember I've paid the price of my freedom. I'm not on sale.